coast of southern Africa, situated on the eastern seaboard, a coast that abounds with shipwrecks, sunken treasure, and ancestral legends that span the sands of time. A place of warm welcome. Our story begins in the sleepy town of Port St. John's, a town that is now 4 years into the wonder of the Rainbow Nation, a true multi-party democracy that is changing the face of South Africa and indeed the town of Port St. John's. The restoration of this old colonial town is very apparent. Land is now available to all members of the community, thus closing the divide that has existed for centuries in this former war-torn region. Backpackers from around the globe, lured by the unique natural beauty of this area and the yearning to discover new cultures and lifestyles, are taken on incredible journeys into the lush subtropical forests and mountains by a Xhosa-speaking white man, Christopher Reed. This story is about Christopher and his transformation to Ntombe Mhlope, a white medicine man in Africa, a Sangoma. Mhlope began his odyssey after meeting a shaman who had had a dream that he should follow the ancestral path. Mhlope had come from a world of private schools, polo ponies, international modeling, horticulture, fast cars, fast money, alcohol, and drugs. Did he need to heed this calling? His answer, yes. Mhlope lives in a village called Mtambalala near Port St. John's with his adopted family. His baby brother Nkwenkwezi, the sprightly matriarch Makulu. The most important person in the fabric of this story, Zipati, Mhlope's spiritual teacher and trainer. He is the shamanic diviner, or Iklicha, for the village of Mtambalala, and a senior leader of the Dlamini clan, and Osandi, Zipati's wife and spiritual counterpart. Little has changed in the peaceful valley of Mtambalala. It remains unaffected by modern technology, maintaining a rural tranquility that is rare in today's urban concrete jungles. Life is simplistic in the valley. No rush, no stress. Mhlope and Zipati share an early morning moment of insanity before getting on with the day's work, looking after the well-being of the villagers. Some of the local beauties pose for the camera, somewhat reluctantly. The outside kitchen, a busy place for work, conversation, and catching up on local gossip. Even the piglets in this village are relaxed. The great hut, adorned with the cattle horns from the graduation sacrifices of Zipati, Nosande, and Mhlope. Mhlope's graduation to Iklicha came after 3 intensive years of training under Zipati. The event spanned over 5 days and was attended by over 500 guests and Sangomas from all over the country. Mhlope has an assistant or kangata named Votani. He is 11 years old and Mhlope is charged with his welfare, upbringing and education. Together they travel across the huge expanses of rugged coastline and surrounding areas in search of medicinal herbs, roots and barks that grow in profusion in this remote region. Deep in the valleys of Ponderland lies a village named Ndeni. Here, in this quaint village, Mshlope and Votani meet their friend Dave, a trainee herbalist, and the highly respected chief and herbalist, or Ikwele. After obtaining some rare roots and barks, Mshlope and Dave search the riverbanks for plants that only grow in this pristine area.
Because the Inticha doesn't have the fixed university training of a Western vet or doctor, he doesn't have the mindset which says, this is your disease. It could be a social disease, it could be a psychological problem, it could be a psychosomatic problem, it could be a somatopsychic one. It could purely be a mental problem which has found its way out in eczema. He doesn't have a set of prejudices that he comes with. And part of the process before he goes for a consultation is clearing himself, cleaning himself out, so that he doesn't go with those prejudices. He cleans out his body, but he also cleans out his mind.
On leaving the village, Mshlope and Votani stop to pick the revered and incense-like plant, impepu. Dried impepu is burned during every ceremonial ritual to heighten and enhance communication with the ancestral spirits, or matongo. With the ceremony only days away, they begin the long journey back to Mtambalala, the place of play and sleep. Votani has other ideas on the delicate art of river crossing. The ceremony goes into the night. In village life, the children start dancing at a very early age, taking their turns in drumming, dancing and singing under supervision from a senior member of the clan. Maize beer, or unkomboti, for the Sangomas. The dance continues into the early hours of the morning. Leaving the beauty of the wild coast, Mshlope travels to Cape Town. This is his first return to civilization for over 6 years. His mission, to spread the word of the Amatlicha, the people of light, and to discuss cultural issues over an interactive medium, radio.
It's taking people to show them that life really is still like that. And it's a hard life. There's no tap water, there's no electricity, all those sorts of things.
Where do you get your water from?
We carry it on our heads from nearby springs or streams or rivers.
Do you balance it like the women do?
Absolutely, it took me
Oh,
a while
imagine.
to learn to do that. Let me tell you, Sydney, that we treat epileptic people quite often. It's a long-term treatment that people must live with us. It takes up to a year or longer, depends on the person, but we cannot cure epilepsy. We can reduce the rate of
Arriving back at his village is a truly joyful occasion, meeting old friends and boasting of his exploits in the big city. But more important is his return to his mentor Sipati, with gifts and rare medicines procured on his journey to Cape Town. He explains the Bovani bulb to Sipati and confirms to Makula that yes, indeed, if a chicken had laid the egg, it would need its own hut to live in. Makulu has never seen an ostrich in her 87 years of existence. And the piece de résistance? Mshlopi repays Sipati for his years of training, the equivalent of one cow. Sipati is visibly moved and overjoyed.
And after some time, I can't remember how long, he came back one day and he was in quite a state. And he said, "Dad, I've been asked to become a Sangoma." He said, "What do you think of it?" I said, "Well, what do you think? Do you want to do it? Because don't start it and then stop. But if you do it properly, then I'm with you." And I took him through to June, and she was a little unhappy because she thought that it wasn't a Christian thing. But she also gave her an agreement, and he went into it. And for him it was very tough, because he was always our least disciplined boy, and suddenly he learnt all about discipline. And the 3 years that he was involved there, attaining his Sangomaship, it was quite a battle. And I was very, very proud of him. When he finally graduated, he pumat. I thought it was fantastic.
Herbie greets Makulu and Sipati for a ceremony known as the washing of the hands. This is to wash away the sorrow of the passing on of Herbie's wife June in the previous year. The Dlamini clan have a special clearing close to the beach that is used exclusively for their ceremonial occasions. Mshlope, on instructions from Sipate, distributes drinks to selected visitors. Bread is prepared and passed around to sustain the guests for the long evening of celebrations. Mshlope explains to the assembled clan that his cousin Marianne from Cape Town is sponsoring the event and that she too will share in the ceremony as a family member. Chickens are first passed around to the Tswazas, or trainee Sangomas, for them to absorb the energy and the spirit from the animal. Votani swings the chicken to the laughter of the entire gathering. Zodwa evades the chicken. She does not want to be a Sangoma. Makulu belies her age and spurs on the chicken ritual. The dancing begins. Mshlope joins the young Tswazas in an energetic opening piece. This will be a night to remember. Impepo is inhaled to enhance the journey to the ancestral spirit world. Size doesn't count here. Nkwenkwezi danced before he could walk. The drums seem to put the moon in slow motion. The clan take a break while the chickens are plucked for adornment and for the dinner pot. The Twazas misbehave and are put in order by Sipati. This is a serious event. This Twaza sings in anguish. His graduation is long overdue, and he pleads for the cow that will symbolize the completion of his training. A young boy bids good morning to the sun. It is the day of the sacrifice, and the goat lies awaiting his fate. After dancing all night, Zipati is in full trance state, as is Mshlope. Like at any other special occasion, guests pay full attention to making a fashion statement. Zipati gives thanks to the spirits in a dance before the beach ceremony. The climax to the ceremony, the sacrifice. This beach scene is rare. There is a fear of large open expanses of water, and few sacrifices are made in the ocean. According to custom, Herbie offers refreshment to the ancestors. The immediate family of Herbie joins Sipati, immersing in the waters to wash away their grief. As head of the family, Herbie sacrifices the goat in the waves. The breath has ceased to flow from the animal, and the family and Dlamini clan begin a final dance of praise. Zipati speaks to the spirits and blesses the ocean for its eternal cleansing. spiritual offering completed, the party emotionally concludes the ceremony. Exhaustion is evident. The beauty of the environment here is extraordinary. To the trained Iklicha, this remote chasm is a veritable storehouse of natural medicines. The lush subtropical vegetation may contain over 1,000 indigenous varieties of herbs, roots, barks, and fungi. Mshlope, as he has been taught, has the highest regard for the forest floor and canopy, removing only what is required and allowing the forest to recover with minimal damage. Votani, while assisting Mshlope, learns the biodiversity and the sensitivity of the forest, a must for ongoing generations. Nightfall. Ntambalala. Mshlope is back in the great hut with friends and family for yet another celebration. The spirits will be happy tonight. Husband and wife, Zipate and Osande, dance together in perfect spiritual harmony. A Sangoma from nearby Majola joins Mshlope in a deep trance-like dance. The spirits are clearly in attendance. Mshlope has chosen to walk the path of the Amatlicha. His classical horticultural training blends and overlaps perfectly with the knowledge he has acquired through living with the Sangomas and herbalists of the Amapondo people. His work as a tribal tour guide and teacher to the myriad of backpackers is momentous. Ntombi Mshlope is a living example of cross-cultural interaction, a cultural bridge to span all nationalities, all schools of thought. He is indeed a person of light. Abantu Abam Mshlope.